there was a BIS document so that's the Bank for International Settlements, and what you see here is a lot of circles where things overlap. They're talking about virtual currency, bank deposits, settlement or reserves, deposit currency accounts, then CBCCs and CBCC retail, etc. And what you see at the bottom is a gray square. You can see above here, this is the Bank of International Settlements, and it reads, Quant is the foundation of the blockchain economy. Ladies and gentlemen, Quamrats, welcome to episode 13 of the Quamfy Show. It is 30 degrees Celsius right here, or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why it's Quamfy Forever tank top time. I have a fan over to my right, and Tim is also sweating his ass off. He's shinier than ever, but his room is very well ventilated, which is really nice. But yeah, it's becoming to begin peak summer here in the Netherlands, and means this is hard work. And we also have a lot of hot topics on this show because Quant will be on EBADAY, and it's gonna take place on the 20th. I say very carefully, somewhere next week at least. So we're gonna have a look at the lineup. Gilbert posted some things on LinkedIn, and we're just gonna follow the breadcrumbs from there. Show you guys a document as well on where Quant contributed actually, which is from Future of Finance. I believe it is in a partnership with R3 or in collaboration with R3, the article at least. It's pretty interesting. It's 126 pages plus. We'll give you the link to the PDF because it is way too much to go over on the show. Obviously, Quant price, we are below 3 digits, so panic. There's a lot of things going on this week. Nagato made a wonderful tweet summing everything up, and we have something programmed for every single day. By the time you see this, most has already passed, except for the Eurozone CPI and a couple of things more, so we'll touch on that as well. Then there is, the war of the continents, the war of the worlds. What shall we call it? I'm not really sure how we're gonna phrase the title, but it's gonna be something very American, very bombastic, because there is a lot of struggle going on across the pond, whilst this continent is pretty comfy. And we'll definitely have a look at this, and in the end we're gonna see what the impact could be, and have some nice discussion. So check that out. Make sure to look at the timeline. There are stamps there. Tim always does his best to make sure that you guys can skip ahead if you prefer to do so. All the links to everything we discuss are in the description. Leave a like, please subscribe, leave a comment, and if you ever want to be on the show, if you got something to say, let us know.
Join us.
Yeah, so that was the longest intro ever in the history of the Quamfy Show. Tim, brother, how is life?
How is life? Actually pretty comfortable. You just said that I was sweating. Life is pretty well. I just checked my thermometer and it says like 27 degrees Celsius, which is completely fine. It used to be like 35 degrees here in this room.
Yeah, that's like 93.
Yeah, and then so we dropped quite a lot, and this feels pretty well. Besides that, I'm cool, I guess. I just bought some more Quant this week. It's no financial advice. I did add to my bag a little bit more. And I'm just watching a lot of football still. We're still in a period with lots of sports. So I'm just just visiting a lot of football games, which is really nice. Doing some fun stuff besides that.
When does that end?
When does it end? I think next after Sunday it's done for, and then we'll have the summer stop. And besides watching football, just going to the beach, to the pool, doing nice stuff. That's my life. Not checking crypto at all. So I just saw that we lost to the 3-digit mark, but oh no. Anyway,
Oh no.
That's
Anyway,
literally, that's literally how it feels like. I mean, previously I've been more, well, I've been in a way more stressful state about it, but now I'm like, yeah, there's so much fundamental stuff coming our way that I don't really care anymore, honestly.
yeah, fundamental confirmations, right?
Literally, we are awaiting some major confirmations, and they might be around the corner, unironically. Anyway, how are you? And then we can move into
doing
rest of the show.
pretty well. I mean, temperatures are higher in this apartment, but it's a little bit more routine. There's a couple of things going on with family, but those are sorting themselves out gradually, which is nice. We decided to put this place for sale, so we're taking steps for that, looking to move. And found a training buddy, one of my upstairs neighbors, 25-year-old young god. I asked him, dude, crazy question. Do you ever go to the gym? He's like, no, I can't find a training partner. And I'm like, wonderful.
You just found one.
Yeah. So we did. And we
that's
went to
great.
the gym now two times. So yeah, that's cool, man. That's good for routine. It's good for motivation. I mean, I have 12 years on him. So I may be a wee bit stronger now, but he'll probably catch up pretty quickly with testosterone racing through his body. But that's interesting. It's a nice to keep each other on your toes. Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I'm pretty active, relatively active on Telegram since like a month. I think a week
I noticed.
pre-pump. I joined the Quamfy lounge again.
Well, others left. Or got booted.
Sorry.
While others left or got booted out.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some, I mean, very short on Telegram. I mean, there's always trolls, there's always people with a certain attitude, and everybody's like cringing at half their messages. Maybe you're cringing at my message, I don't know. But a couple of those guys keep stacking every day. And then looking into, we're all going to make it chain cringe chat. And, those boys are now there talking shit about Quant. Stuff like that.
Highly ironic.
It's ironic. It is super entertaining. But that being said, I complimented on Twitter XRP today. They apparently got involved with the Australian dollar. Was a tweet on that, or some news, which seemed legit. AUDD, don't have a link for it right now, but you'll find it, which is good for them, right? That's actually the adoption, if that all works out that we're looking for. And ChainLink, ChainLink also seems to do well. If you look at the crypto use case, there's more and more entities using at least some of their services. That doesn't necessarily mean that Link is being used. I am no Link specialist. I do not know. But props, right, to the people still holding. It's starting to look more and more that they are actually creating real world value, and also looks that it might even translate into coin appreciation.
Yeah.
Let's say durable coin appreciation, right? Because if you look at ChainLink, their backup price is 2020. XRP as well, still 2x from 2020. Compared to Quant, that's still not very good, but at least there are some prospects for improvement for them, and I think that is, even though we take the piss out of the XRP army and the Link Marines more often than not, but Yeah, I think the holders can expect that. I think so. We'll get better, at least when all the lawsuits and all the other things
I
settle.
love how you are interested in Chainlink because honestly, I don't care. I have no clue what they are doing, and well, even if they do something right, I still don't really care. I mean,
No.
it's nice, I guess, but with those kind of projects, you never know what it actually means, right? And it's kind of ironic that they say with Quant it's all just talk. I think it's the other way around. It's like we are not talking, we are actually just speculating around it while the company is building. With Chainlink, you have no clue what they're doing.
Quant needs other projects, right? So the tribalism is fun because mostly the other parties think that they are competition to Quant, which they're not.
No, sure. Yeah.
And we like taking the piss out of them because they were our rivals to a degree, right? Similar prices for Link and Quant at a certain time. And XRP had also the interoperability thing. So that's how the rivalry started, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're better, like in the sandbox, like kids. But I don't follow Link. I did have a chat with a couple of people that are held a very high regard within our community. For their privacy sake, I'll refrain from naming them. But it brought a pretty convincing argument that made me look just a wee bit into what they're doing. And even though a lot of the partnerships that, for instance, Link is in are not the caliber, and I mean it with no disrespect, of what Quant is doing, for instance, Oracle or policies, or SIA Nexi, but still, right? If you can provide data to major exchanges, you can provide data to whatever, that is adoption, and I think that's cool. I'm not too sure about the CCIP side of things. It will no doubtedly, when it's ready, fill a gap, right? There will be need. Just looking at how big the companies grow, there will be a use for them, but it will be always with a crypto company.
The thing is with oh, sorry. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So there will always be a partnership with a crypto company because they are crypto focused, which is nice because Quant is not, right? Quant provides services also to crypto. Sure. They can, but they're not their main target audience. They're focusing on the legacy, the traditional, the powers that be, and not the powers that are rising, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for disruption, in a way, Link could do very well. And
good data.
I just think that their tokenomics are garbage, and I think the same for XRP. But yeah, I mean, if there's enough people holding long enough, and you know, if you're listening to this, you've been holding for a long time. It's been very, very painful, and I say this with a lot of respect. But yeah, no, I hope for you guys that better days are ahead, and it could very well be. So that's what I wanted to say about that.
The thing about Link and whatever kind of projects you have, what makes them so special? You know, they are all, in my mind at least, they are all similar. They're all trying to achieve the same kind of task. And sure, they will be different in what they are doing, and that is important to Quant. But for me, as an investor, crypto schnitzel, it makes way more sense to try and find these, well, at least these investments which are unique. And I just don't see it with Chainlink. I don't see it with XRP. I don't see it with all those cryptos fighting for the same market share. I just don't see it. I literally don't see it.
I agree.
And it's nice that they are doing one kind of task, but who cares?
Yeah. But there's a couple of things, right? If you want to be successful with your company, you either want to be first, you want to be biggest, or, and I forgot the third, but arguably XRP was first, right? With the ODL and the quick whatever thing they do.
Yeah. Yeah, but
ChainLink, what they do with the oracles, they're arguably one of the biggest doing this, right? And
yeah,
providing the data and the interrupt comes with that. And I think if you look at ChainLink as a company that are growing pretty quickly, if they can get the CCIP off the floor, then it could be, because they're already big, that they can implement with partners that they already have. I don't know. Again, not a training specialist. What? Not a specialist in anything except using my mouth and
yeah,
CO2. But there is value there. Same as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is obsolete when it comes to the technology. But they were first. They are biggest. And it counts for something in this world.
it does, but to me, it's not. I don't know. It doesn't even feel like worth talking about, honestly, from my perspective. I'm extremely biased, I know, but being first or doing something first doesn't guarantee you anything. Like,
no,
if you don't stand out, if you're not competitive, then
no, but that's fine. But in a lot of times when you start a business and you're the first one that does something and you do it well, then you get a lot of market share. Look at Tesla with electric cars.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And same with Coca-Cola. There could very well be better, bigger, more tasty cola producers. Coca-Cola is still the biggest, and everybody will stay there. And the same goes for Lego and Playmobil, Duplo, and all those things, right?
Nokia.
Nothing lives forever, right?
No, true.
Nothing lives forever. But for a while, they were the biggest. But if you don't innovate, you're gonna get fucked. And that could be that could be the curse where you get too big and you get too comfortable. That's one of the arguments you had for the Netherlands with their resources and stuff. If you get too comfortable, you're gonna get overtaken.
Yeah, we are indeed entering an interesting discussion here. Let's not go that way. Let's focus on Quant. I mean, we could fight these other cryptos, but there is no point. I think
no.
coexisting.
And that's also why I started with my mea culpa, right? Because I've been taking the piss out of them a lot. But there are signs showing now that they're actually at least making some waves, right? And I mean, I hope for the people that are investing that they're going to get something out of it. I mean, there's so much fucking money in this world, people. There is so much money to be divided across the 300 million people that are in crypto right now, and maybe there's 500,000 people that have a significant stake, maybe a bit more. And would be nice to create some new billionaires, even if they're not necessarily Quant.
Yeah. Okay, back to Quant.
Yeah, let's have a look at EBADAY.
Yeah.
So we asked in Lounge 2 weeks ago, what do you want us to cover? And we got one response. And that was that, are you attending EBADAY? So in Madrid, there's this fintech sandbox-esque financial gathering, fintech gathering. That's called EBADAY. And as you can read here on the screen, are you attending EBADAY? Hashtag EBADAY. We have a senior team in Madrid for the event, including Gilbert Verdian and Martin Hargreaves, talking with banks and payment firms about use cases and best practice for digital currency implementations. We will also be offering live demos showing how to use hashtag Overledger platform to issue digital currencies, embed programmability, and transfer assets across networks with ease. Click on the link below to book a meeting with us. Sounds familiar, because that also happened with Cyprus last year, which is cool. And it's the June 20th to June 21st in Madrid. Looking at this, Go away, stupid bar. If anybody knows how to get this zoom bar to obey, that would be amazing. So looking at ebaday.com/exhibit, you can see what the floor looks like. And it is kind of like Cybos. There's a lot of stands, a lot of people in suits, a lot of old gray men with big tummies. That's also what I felt when I was at Cybos, that we were young and lean and with very colorful hair. Nah, it's a little bit of a joke, but it's also not, and we'll get to that later in this show. EBADAY, they write on their website, offers the perfect level playing field for all our exhibitors. With uniform, pre-built stands, you simply need to arrive, unpack your sales material, and you are ready to start networking with the world's leading banks. ACH, those are the automatic clearing houses. And no, I did not know that. I needed to Google that prior to the show. Technology vendors and consultancies, and they forgot on Oxford comma here, which is a little bit sad. So the packages, they have all these wonderful packages that people can choose, and there are 1,300 senior industry participants, 80 innovative sponsors and fintechs, and over 100 expert speakers and panelists. In 2022, they saw 2,000 plus leads created and 39 countries represented. So this is a pretty big deal, right? I mean, this is their own statements, but yeah, this is cool. And there's obviously sponsors and exhibitors. Lead sponsor Deutsche Bank, lead sponsor JP Morgan, hosts and bank sponsors, right? There's all these big names that we know: Citi, HSBC, NatWest, BNY Mellon. There's corporate sponsors like Nexi, Visa, MasterCard, Accenture, even Swift is here, which is interesting because Swift has their Cybos, which is a Swift only thing. That was not a level playing field. There they had, in my opinion, pretty clear that some corporations had bigger booths, more money, etc.
Yeah.
And it was a Swift only event, right? Swift network. Nexi was not there, for instance, because they are competitors, arguably. So
it goes on.
Sorry?
It goes on with cloud sponsors.
Yeah. Microsoft is there as a cloud sponsor. And then we got some exhibitors, and Quant is one of them. They have a booth. I don't know what it's worth, but they have one. They got too many to name. Volante is a name that we heard in relation to Quant a couple of times.
Worldline is there. And Worldline is a payment solution which is tied to Nexi and SIA.
Nice, yeah.
What else do we have? It's all kind of clearinghouses, financial technology firms.
Yeah.
Like the companies that actually build the software, if it makes any sense.
And the fintech zone finalists. No, to me, any recognizable logos?
No, not necessarily.
And then they have the speakers, which is also interesting. This is a younger audience, a little bit than we saw on Cybos.
It's a typical fintech audience.
Is it?
It's all a bunch of like people in their 40s. Lots of suits.
Gilbert Verdian is also one of the speakers there, which is cool. I went through this, didn't recognize a lot of people. It just tells me how illiterate I am in this topic. But now this is going to be pretty interesting, especially since they'll be having a booth there, so they will be giving presentations there, talking to people. Gilbert is a speaker.
Is that Stephen King? Is that the author?
I think that Stephen King is Vice President Sustainability Solutions Advisor.
Oh no, it's not. Oh no, it's not.
I
it's
thought
not the author.
And I was there was this disconnect because I saw a picture of him on a really, really old book. I think it was Jaws even or something like that. I don't know. Or it. And just looking from here behind my mic, I was like, that dude didn't age at all.
Yeah.
which is obviously not the case. So yeah, welcome to the Quamfy show. That was horse shit.
Well, Stephen King is there, so it must be a good
Yeah. And I wasn't even surprised because on Cyboss last day we had Bear Grylls.
Oh, the actual Bear Grylls.
The actual Bear Grylls. Yeah, he was there talking about, I don't know, I missed it. Yeah. So
what a guy.
A nice convention in Madrid, and Quant's there. They have a booth this time. I wonder what the FUD will be.
Yeah, before we move on, there was this tweet or post or whatever. I did see it. I have a very fuzzy memory because a lot happened the past 8 days since we last recorded the show, where they said they will be showcasing Overledger's capabilities together with Nexi, the European Central Bank.
Yeah, I read
and another
that.
partner.
I don't know. I just saw we will also be offering live demos showing how to use Overledger platform to issue digital currencies. But exactly. You saw actual. Yeah, okay. So there were not, or did you see something with Nexi named?
I'm not sure, but I think I did. I think they will be showcasing it together.
This is what I saw. But this is on Quant's LinkedIn. Maybe you can find it on their Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah.
If speaking of Twitter, Quant Papa got banned, probably in a bot or something, or maybe there was some unquamfy people reporting him. Try and look up some tweets. #FreeQuantPapa. And let's see if we can get that ban reverted, because Quant Papa is providing a lot of value to us with the research he does and the links he finds and stuff. Nobody knows how he does it. Maybe he's an insider. But no, he got banned from Twitter, which is crazy. So if we can take up arms a bit and try and get him to have his account unsuspended, because he is suspended for now, which is fucking sad. Did you manage to find something, Tim?
No, I'm looking for it. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
But I do know that they are there showcasing it. It must be somewhere, but I'm not sure where.
Yeah.
Let's skip over
when it comes to these conventions, on the one hand, I want to be really excited, but we've been excited a lot of times before. Arguably, never has there been said that they would be showcasing any tech. We always hoped, and to a degree, it feels like this time could really be the time.
Yeah,
with the Bank of England speaking out and Gilbert and Andrew both saying that this year will be the time to start monetizing, right? They generated leads, and now this year will be for following through. And then this event where they have a booth and saying they'll be sharing things gets me a little bit excited, secret. Just a wee bit. Yeah.
1 second, please. Here, this is from a
Quant and CBDCs in Europe. Don't miss our CEO Gilbert Verdian live on stage discussing our recent experience of working on a major central bank digital currency experiment with senior representatives from Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan, Nexi, and the European Central Bank. Okay. June 20th, 2023. And
Yeah,
that was posted by Born Quamfy. There's a link there on EBADAY.
I'm
Okay.
afraid to open it though. Not because I'm afraid to get scammed, but I'm not sure what will show up once I press the link.
No. Yeah.
So let me first undox myself.
Now I remember that. It's I believe it's on their website.
Yeah, it is. And it's on the website of Quant, and I'll show you right now. Now, we're not actually getting screwed by 24 screens that open up. Because that Zoom likes that. They like to open all kinds of pop-ups at the moment you start sharing your screen. It is absolutely lovely how the Zoom software is designed. So we're looking here at the official webpage of Quant. It says Quant at EBADAY 2023. It reads, making central bank digital currencies and programmable money simple, trusted, and future-proof. It says, meet us at 10:33. Jarno is gone. We have a senior team in Madrid for EBADAY, including our CEO and our CPO. CPO stands for Chief
Product Officer.
Product Officer. Talking with
Luke
banks and
I think that's Luke Wright, isn't it? Or is that?
Yeah, I don't know. Talking with banks and payment firms about use cases and best practice for digital currency implementations. We will also be offering live demos showing how to use Overledger platform to issue digital currencies, embed programmability, and transfer assets across networks with ease. Now we can book a meeting. Let's not do that. And then they'll be having a live session on the 20th of June. And that's the text we just read. It includes Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan, Nexi, and European Central Bank. Now, name me any other crypto company that does that. Further reads Quant's expertise in digital currencies, find out more about their work implementing CBDC and other programmable money. And it just flexes with all the stuff it's done in the past. We have this photo in the background where the guy from the Bank of England is like, okay, I don't know anything about the tech, but Gilbert does, so let's let him cook. And that's it. Now we're at the bottom of the page.
The foundation of the blockchain economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's there was also another interesting article. Now I need to, yeah, somewhere in the troughs of my mind there was an article, and Jeff asked if Quant Papa photoshopped this, and he did not. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
There was a BIS document so that's the Bank for International Settlements, and what you see here is a lot of circles where things overlap. They're talking about virtual currency, bank deposits, settlement or reserves, deposit currency accounts, then CBCCs and CBCC retail, etc. And what you see at the bottom is a gray square. You can see above here, this is the Bank of International Settlements, and it reads, Quant is the foundation of the blockchain economy. Assets of all kinds, from currencies to carbon credits, are being tokenized on blockchain, making their ownership immutable, their provenance traceable, and their use easy to manage. Our patent-pending technology makes this simple, trusted, and future. We work with financial institutions and corporates to dramatically reduce their time to market, create new revenue lines, and mitigate risk by delivering enterprise-grade solutions built with security and compliance front of mind. Founded in 2018, Quant is UK-based with the US presence. We spearheaded the blockchain ISO standard TC307, adopted by 57 countries, and solved interoperability with the creation of the world's first blockchain-agnostic API gateway, Overledger, which is now available to all via Quant Connect. To find out more, visit quant.network. And this was interesting because this is the entire page. And it was a discussion between Hobson and Verdian. Stablecoins are part of something big that is happening to money. And it was an interview in Future Finance. Oh, I think that's actually the article. Oh man, my brain and research. That was actually the article that I found and looked up.
And to be clear, we are being very...
It's a different article. It's a different article.
Okay.
Let's make it sense of stablecoins. There are so many overlaps, people. We are so sorry, but you're getting it all step by step. But Jeff was really excited about that, and everybody was excited. And then we just moved on because, as Tim said in the beginning, there is so fucking much going on. It is truly mind-boggling.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
How many quotes and interviews and mentions Quant gets these days, and this is not an over-exaggeration at all.
They're literally all over the place, and props to Jarno for just getting all that information sorted and presentable, because I am not helping in any way at the moment. I'm just I mean, I know stuff and I suggest stuff, but Jarno is the one who's actually ordering it and making it legible for all of us. So don't be upset that we confuse things sometimes, because it is so messy. We are content-wise in a completely different stage.
It is the same document. It is the Future of Finance document.
Okay.
So the link to the document where you see the BIS flexing with Quant.
Yeah.
That is actually this document that from Future of Finance that we'll be diving in now, I suppose.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Because this is a PDF, right? The stablecoin paper.
Yeah.
Sorry, need to keep hydrating, otherwise I'll probably die before the end of the evening. And this is the article, an article by R3, Making Sense of Stablecoins. And this is a rather large document. There's a summary here, but they're going over all the stablecoins. So the algorithmic stablecoins, the backed, not backed, shadow banks. This is a pretty big document.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, R3, it's kind of one of the main ledgers in the world. Like, besides Hyperledger, they are kind of the main party. They are doing what all the cryptos are claiming to do.
Yeah.
For actual enterprise clients.
Yeah. So this, I'd recommend downloading it. The link will be here. Like I said, it's a total of 129 pages. And if you look at the end, the publishing team is Wendy Gallagher, co-founder and commercial director. Futurefinance.biz. And then we have sincere thanks to our co-publishers, which is R3, Quant, and Ernst & Young. So once again, in good company. Gil worked with Ernst & Young, didn't he?
He did.
I forgot his CV, but yeah, the connection R3, Quant, Ernst & Young has always been point of speculation. But now there are these co-authoring an article, which is cool. This is something I have not read. I'm not going to pretend I did. Not yet. I might get to this, but like I said, it's 130 pages, which is hefty.
Yeah.
But if you're interested, this will break down how the heavyweights of the financial world regard stablecoins, and they're talking about non-bank stablecoins and regulation. They talk about a network of networks linked by stablecoins. It's a big. It's a fucking, how do you call it? A dissertation, a thesis.
It's basically a thesis, and I think this is well. How do I say? I think it's really relevant because we are actually getting an insight into how enterprise views this path towards stablecoins, and we all as crypto community have this notion of how we think it's going to be. Like everyone's going to buy XRP, and then we're going to all send XRP from A to B, and or we're all going to send ChainLink from A to B. I don't know. That's just not how it's going to work.
Yeah.
And if you want to know why, it's probably lined out in this document.
Yeah, because they're talking about algorithmic stablecoins. They start with Terra, obviously. Then you got the asset-backed stablecoins, Ampleforth to USD. Oh my God, Ampleforth! I can still remember that. That was the shitcoin we got. Yeah, we got that airdropped. If you had Ample, I don't know, but that was also an algorithmic thing with the rebalance at night and how to make money was also crazy. Also had a ton of those. But they're talking
nice.
Tether versus US dollar, USDT, USDC, BUSD. They're having a look at everything. Bitcoin. They're going to look at regulatory responses to stable coins, which is also interesting because Ernst & Young is obviously a big cheese, and that they have a lot of people working there. They have a lot of influence, most likely with a lot of entities. So FSB is named here, G7 working groups. So they consulted with probably everybody, because everybody knows everybody there. And there's an article there by Ernst & Young themselves. And then you got regulation, Japan, United States, EU, UK, Hong Kong, Singapore, and a little bit on a global consensus. So go have a look, cherry pick. You can just click on something and it will take you there. This is a little bit too dry, I think, for the Quamfy show to go through, but we'll make it a little bit juicier. After this little break, we're going to talk about Quant price. Or Tim, do you have anything to add on the previous?
Not necessarily. I was just looking. You were talking about algorithmic stablecoins, and I was just fascinated by the idea of that. And I looked back into history, and I found that we already passed the infamous Terra Luna crash by a month already. Apparently, that was at the beginning of May last year. A year went by, and we all forgot. And that was supposed to be the end of crypto, the end of times. And now we're all still here, still in the Quamfy show. Quant is still at $100, a bit less.
Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating sometimes? Yeah, it's kind of a reality check. We always scream that it's the end of the days, and then a year passes and everyone forgot, and nobody even mentioned it. Sorry, I just completely interrupted your story, but I was just fascinated by that fact.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it's funny to see, right? It's how it literally goes. Like,
I mean,
something extremely traumatic happens, and we all forget a year later. Nobody knows anymore.
Yeah. We spoke about this pre-show. There's always a bunch of people that are always looking for the juicy explanations, the juicy headlines, and they scream bloody murder when something happens. But those are the same people that move on really quickly to something new to worry about. Yeah. Stress about.
I was reading this. It's a Dutch website, the infamous website in the Netherlands that always claims that Cardano is about to break out. They've been doing that for the past 4 years, but it's about to break out soon, right? And it had the question of, is George Soros behind the crypto crash of Terra Luna? And yeah, we all forgot a year later. Apparently, it was just an algorithmic failure. But
people are fucking idiots. They eat that up, right? It is the same with those stupid advertisements, even on more or less reputable-ish news websites. If you then scroll down, you see, and what he did then surprised everyone.
Yeah, and people actually click it.
I'm gonna click it.
Yeah, and to be fair, when I'm really bored, I still do the same. Like, sometimes you have these clickbaity titles, and I'm really, really bored out of my mind. I clicked in, and
If
yeah.
I feel I'm being manipulated into clicking, I just don't. And I'd rather miss out on something good than be sucked into something shit 10,000 times prior. It's and
how are people
this was
going
once the most beautiful girl in the world. What she looks like now will surprise you.
Yeah.
Fringe like that. Anyway. So
how are people then going to click on the Quamfy show if they have that mentality? Because they know it's good. That's the right answer. Hey, we're moving on to the next.
And our clickbait is so shit that it's not even clickbait. Oh, so what we have here is Quant at 97.42, which is kind of despair. Looking at the price here, euros is not 90 euros. Sorry for the gagging noises. I bought 2 fans today. One Quant barely got me 2 fans. Yeah. But at least I'm nice and chilled right now.
Only fans, right?
My OnlyFans. I bought my OnlyFans, yeah.
You bought OnlyFans.
How do you think I built my bag now? It's yeah. This is a little bit of a crazy thing. So since the last show, we're at 110, and we're just bleeding. Once again,
it's like a slope. It's
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, and if we go to the 90 days,
we just climbed a hill to just go down again.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think if you draw a line from here, you draw it all the way down. We're then at support. I hope. I don't know. But if we're looking year over year, we are in profit. Or 1 year we're up 92%, which is nice. We're 8.6 down on the 30 days, 18% on the 7 day.
Some Lambos got evaporated. People lost summer houses.
Just a few.
People are dangling by their tie in the staircase.
Yeah. Okay. So market cap, right? I'll do my best to address this briefly. Market capitalization is the product of the amount of tokens in circulations and the price, right? So if you multiply the price with the amount of tokens that are in circulation, you get the market cap.
Yeah.
That means that if you have an infinite supply, or you have a minting mechanism, or you have an unlocking schedule, or you have mining, and the price stays the same forever, your market cap still goes up, right? Some coins have everything in circulation. So they have if the price stays the same, the market cap will stay the same always. Quant is an example of this, right? So let's say there's 15 million tokens. We have 15 million tokens, and then the price is 100. The market cap will never go beyond 1.5 billion. It will not happen. But a lot of the projects in here, the top 10, they have supplies going to 1 billion tokens. But if only half is in circulation, then the price can go down, 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 down. And if they just crank on the miners, or they just crack open the vaults and start sending tokens in, then the market cap will remain the same or even go up, even if price goes down. Yeah, that's inflation. So when we look at ranks for Quant, it is really hard to gain ranks because we have no inflation mechanism. And if you look at Dogecoin, price can go down, 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 down. And they just release more tokens because the total supply is what? And the maximum supply is infinite. It is infinite. So if the mining
It's a ridiculous
just
idea, right?
so if you make the mining easier, you can actually get Dogecoin to become number one. And the price could be 1 cent instead of 5. Right? So
Yeah,
it's crazy.
it's really, it boggles my mind. I mean, I still don't really understand market caps because, well, I'm stupid. But I think since I don't understand it, most people around me don't understand it either. It's
no, but market cap is a terrible metric to determine a project's worth, value, success, whatever you want to do. Why? Because of the dilution of the supply, the inflation, that is a thing. It will be exceedingly difficult for Quant to get into the top 10. Not because of how good the project is, but simply because of the sheer amount of tokens that are being fed into the system for all these shitcoin projects.
On the other hand, that is kind of fascinating, right? That I'm just still trying to understand that. So if the price of Doge drops, but they release more supply onto the market, like the market cap will stay the same. Yeah, no,
because
or even go up.
because they can simply just mint more tokens right now. If you sort the fully diluted value, so this is now ranked, right? I have show fully diluted value, meaning that if all tokens that were in their project taken into consideration, what would then the market cap be? And you can then sort. And then you see Pepe at the top.
Yeah.
As a maximum supply of a number that I have trouble 100,000.
It's at least not infinite.
100 million. 600 billion. Is that 420 trillion tokens? Give or take a few. So that's 420 trillion tokens. Yeah, so if you take that fully diluted market cap, 420 trillion tokens, that's the biggest supply right now, because apparently, well, I mean, their volume is 100 million. And that just puts them at the top, I think. Might be doing this wrong, but it's crazy. But if you look then here, you see Quant only in position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, in position 16. Because everything is in circulation and blah, blah, blah. If you rank it like that, oh well. It's a crazy thing. It's mad that if the price of something remains the same, they can maintain rank by making more coins. It's kind of what the US dollar does. And that means that every time where we look, we're like, oh, we climbed a rank. How the hell did we get passed by this shitcoin? Well, they just decided that their token was worth 10 cents and they had 500 billion. So then their market cap is instant.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, so
what makes it so hard to understand what's going on here is because you assume in any kind of normal market that you have kind of a fixed amount of shares, or like the thing that's being traded that has a fixed amount. But because we are in a meme economy, you can literally just come up with any random number. It just completely warps any sense of how economics should work.
Yeah.
And that is what my mind fails to process, and what we all collectively fail to see. Like we're comparing apples and pears here, right? So
apples and oranges.
apples and oranges. Wow, and my English is not very apples and orange. Yeah, apples and pears. That's how we call it in Dutch. Jesus Christ, my English is bad sometimes, man. Okay, next topic. You're not done yet.
No, we are not.
Oh, actually, no. We're still at the same temperature here. It's 27. I'm still at 27 degrees. Absolutely fascinating stuff.
I am very cool in my upper body, but I'm starting to get really soggy from sweating.
It's terrible.
It's a little bit disgusting. Anyway, so we have good old Nagato tweeting, and massive week ahead. Here are the key events. Monday, deadline for Binance and Binance US to respond to SEC Gov application for a temporary restraining order. That was yesterday, and I probably didn't get the memo. Tuesday, that's today, motion for temporary Binance US restraining order hearing, and the Hinman's documents released for the XRP case, and CPI data release. Well, the CPA was 4%. Oh, that was 0.1% lower than expected. So we won. And there's no point because everybody already decided that we needed to dump because CPI.
Yeah.
You're all fucking idiots. Anyway, tomorrow
your
we
audio.
have the.
I'm not sure what's going on with your audio.
What is wrong with my audio?
I'm not sure. You were just moving and the audio.
Could be.
Okay.
Is my audio okay now?
Yeah, it's okay. Wednesday,
yeah, we have the US rate decisions and the FOMC statement.
Oh.
And Thursday, we have the ECB rate decision, the jobless claims, and the retail sales. Ooh. And then Friday, Eurozone CPI. Ooh. And volatility has to be expected. Fasten your seatbelts.
Like any normal period, right? This happens like every 4 weeks.
Yeah. This is a recurring event, and we all need to buckle up and seatbelts. I'm not taking the piss out of you, Nagato. I know you watch the show every week. Not taking the piss out of you. It's just general fear mongering is what I call it.
It's not fear mongering. It's just like sensation seeking in a way.
That's what it is. But it's sensation seeking. That's a better term. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's always something to worry about, right? Because what happened? Speaking of, so let us know in the comments. Yeah, let us know what were your expectations of all these high impact events, and how did it turn out?
Yeah,
I'm really curious. Go away. Yeah. And then shifting gears a little bit because, well, just a little bit. As you guys know, there's a lot going on in crypto land when it comes to regulation, standards, and all those things. And there's a little bit of maybe a battle. It's a battle going on. I mean, the US has had their reserve currency for a very long time. The longest that any country has held their reserve currency, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, even the Netherlands held the florijn as the world global reserve for a couple of decades. The British pound was the global reserve for a couple of decades, and a dollar is. But now with CBDCs coming up, crypto coming up, there's pressure. There's pressure for the US because now, arguably, all trade is denominated in dollars for simplicity's sake. When CBDCs come and everything is interoperable, maybe not so much. this is an opportunity for countries to strengthen maybe their economy, to innovate, to move on from the previous revolution, right? That was, as Gilbert stated, making everything electronic, and now going to DLT. This only happens once every 40, 60 years, something like that. And that means that there's kind of an arms race going on. And Gilbert posted this on LinkedIn. It's great to see the UK viewed as a center of innovation for blockchain and Web3, evidenced again this week by the announcement that US venture firm Andreessen Horowitz is set to open its first overseas office here. The UK's move to develop a sensible and proactive regulatory framework around digital assets should reap further rewards while balancing the need to protect consumers. As Prime Minister Rishi Sunak put it, quote, "We must embrace new innovations like Web3, powered by blockchain technology, which will enable startups to flourish here and grow the economy," end quote.
Yeah.
And read more from Davis Quinton at The Block. And then there's this article. Did I? Yeah. So the article is here as well. Let me go back, and I'll put the article in the description. Yeah. So this is cool, right? He's talking about the Prime Minister of the UK wanting to be a haven of innovation, right, for DLT, blockchain, and such. So they are opening their arms. The UK as a hub for Web3 is what the article calls it. So that's interesting. That's one point of view from the UK. Mm-hmm. Then we have this. This is web3kc.eth. That's at King Council XYZ. He tweets, "Parliament has just debated the new report on making the UK a global crypto hub. UK Gov has set out a clear and compelling vision for the future of regulation. Some highlights and hot takes from today's debate." Tweet thread is in the description. But the bottom line is, we need to make progress on providing a clear regulatory framework within the next 12 to 18 months. And that's the UK. UK government desires to be a leader in this space. UK Gov's goal: open, well-regulated, and technologically advanced society. The tech underlying DLT can have profound and positive impacts. This is part of a wider Web3 decentralized movement leading to a radical rethink. McKinsey research suggests Web3 could be a paradigm shift in business models. The Gov shares concerns about availability of banking facilities to crypto firms. No immediate intervention planned, but minister undertaking to keep a close eye upon the issue. He's open to hearing specific examples where access to banking has been denied. So there's a lot of pro-innovation, pro-crypto language here, right? And this is talking about Parliament. And there's apparently, well, it looks like there's very little struggle and a lot of harmony, at least in the long-term vision of where the UK wants to go.
Yeah, and it's something they have been doing for quite a while. I remember when I wrote my thesis 2 years ago, and even before that, and my previous research when I was still in university, this narrative always emerged of, well, we're leaving the EU, but we need to build something else and draw on some other narratives, and this is definitely one of them. And well, if they are serious about it, they should start doing stuff, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. So that's good, and especially when you compare it to the other situation across the pond with the political article that we are going into briefly.
We're getting that in a bit. Because this is the UK, right? And the UK is a very, very large economy. So they are taking everything seriously. We know Europe, right? And arguably the UK is in a way part of Europe, but this continent is innovating We're creating rules. We're creating regulation. We have Micah coming up. They spoke here of 12 to 18 months. So that will be a little bit after the EU, which is kind of smart in a way, because if Micah is getting implemented, there will possibly be things that don't work, right? So there needs to be a reset, and there needs to be things need to be tuned, I think. This is just my brain, no sources, nothing. But for the UK, that would mean that they can modify as they go. If everybody would go live at the same time, everybody will experience the same problems. So it could be clever of them to just hold off a bit and just publish 6 months to a year later than the EU does. But the EU, UK, they're ready. We know that South America is getting ready for DLT. They welcome it with open arms. Asia does the same, right? They have everything up and running already. Scandinavia is also obviously Europe, but they're up and running. Australia love their DLT and blockchain. And Africa, saw an article today, was not super valuable or how do I say shareable source. But they are also looking to do their own thing and getting rid of the dollar by using their own CBDC for domestic trade and such. Then, indeed, across the pond, we have stuff like this. Breaking Cointelegraph. US lawmakers file SEC Stabilization Act to fire Gary Gensler. Quote, US capital markets must be protected from a tyrannical chairman, including the current one, says Representative Warren Davidson in reference to SEC head Gary Gensler. US capital markets, is another quote, must be protected from a tyrannical chairman, including the current one. That's why I'm introducing legislation to fix the ongoing abuse of power and ensure protection that is in the best interest of the markets for years to come. It's time for real reform and to fire Gary Gensler as chair of the SEC. Yeah, really strong words, strife, etc. And then we got the Politico article.
Yeah, this was actually a really nice article, in my opinion.
Yeah, Tim really likes this. Maybe you can give us a TLDR, take us through it a bit.
Yeah, well,
if you want, if you're not comfortable, let me know.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's not quite usual that I actually finish the article because, well, usually most crypto bullshit, I don't really read it, honestly. It's always the same nonsense, but when Politico writes an article, I tend to read, tend to listen. Because it's not necessarily about... This is one of those rare instances where we actually address politics on this show. I mean, we address politics all the time, but we don't address it, if it makes any sense. It's just crypto related. And kind of this article just gives a brief background to, well, this entire dumpster fire that we are seeing across the pond. Well, in terms of, well, an SEC and a Chamber of Commerce and what have you not fighting each other over what they should do. You have a central bank thrown in the mix. And it just gave some really nice background onto, well, this is not a new phenomenon. We've seen this in the past. This kind of this clash about what kind of currencies should be and what path should be taken. And well, if you read it, it goes into all these issues and how also the parties are looking at it, where you have one side that actually tends to, well, kind of align with this their anti-CBDC narrative, right? It will get total control and all those kind of arguments. While the other side thinks, hey, this might actually be a very feasible solution to certain problems that we actually have. And just the notion that it's not a new thing, that's what I really liked about this this brief piece of writing. It's just a background story, which I like.
Yeah. What I found really interesting, and what I find interesting about the American, let's call it politics, is stuff like this. Senator Bill Hagerty, a Tennessee Republican, seized on the comments, echoing a popular line among crypto executives that this year's crackdown on crypto is intended to ease any future rollout of a digital dollar. Quote, the Biden admin wants to kill market innovation to pave the way for a CBDC, which could give the federal gov unprecedented insights into your life. I will fight to make sure this doesn't happen, Hagerty tweeted Wednesday. And
sounds dramatic.
Yeah, but this, right? There's strife. There's a lot of internal struggles, right? The Republicans and Democrats, and they're just, to me, it feels like they're just arguing to argue.
Yeah,
and,
that's literally what they're doing.
They're just throwing shit around to each other. The arguments to me are just hilarious. I mean, a simple example: Biden falling over a sandbag. That again gets brought up that he is unfit for office because he can't hold his footing. Well, I tripped over sandbags 10,000 times, and I'll be running laps around any president. So, but it's idiotic, and they're just losing. They're just losing. They're just losing because they cannot, for some reason, find a common ground.
Yeah, and in Dutch you call it achterhoedegevechten. I'm not sure how that translates into English, but they're just
back alley fighting.
Yeah, back alley, but that doesn't mean anything in English.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, it doesn't do. Okay.
Yeah, it's just fighting dirty, and just fighting for fighting.
They're literally just fighting over the breadcrumbs while the rest.
Yeah.
I've already built a bakery.
That's what it is, and what they're doing, in my opinion, is they're bringing up all these populist arguments to slander the other party, right? Because that's the whole point. They're just looking at, see, they want total control. They want to monitor everything you do, and that's then if I got it right, the Republicans towards the Democrats. And the Democrats, it's I don't get it. No. I truly do not get the mudslinging.
And that is. And, I'm sorry. Oh.
No. And the activism that's going along.
And sure, we understand why you don't get it. You've made that point.
10,000 times. I know.
The past 70 episodes. But what I found very interesting, more interesting actually, and something I forgot to mention is at the beginning of the article. So because the further you go down, the deeper you go into the sewer. It's somewhere here. The Politico actually throws in their own view as well, not necessarily their own view, but like more of, hey, let's talk to the experts and analysts from around the world. Is that what will happen is that you will get CBDC designs, or at least payment designs, which will be based on a European lead or a British lead, because we are actually constructively working towards building a project. So that the main examples will be from European soil. And that is something that I found really interesting, because if you look at it from that perspective, it means that Quant actually is in the forefront of building this technology, right? So if we are in the lead globally, then it means that Quant is actually, how do I say, in this small group that is in charge of building it, which makes it very, very fascinating to read.
This made me giggle, by the way. John Kiff, who worked for 25 years at the Bank of Canada and now publishes a newsletter tracking global CBDC development, described US political firestorm as a bunch of bozos trading bullshit.
Exactly. I completely agree with Mr. Kiff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that makes that is the center of this article, right? So we will get a European lead on CBDCs,
Yeah.
And Quant, unsurprisingly, is in the middle of that, and they will showcase it next week at EBADAY.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what else is. Oh, actually, we do have something else planned in this episode, and it comes down to crypto ownership.
Yeah.
And I think that should be your.
Yeah, that's our finishing statement. Because, as you know, I keep hammering on it. Everybody always looks to the United States. What does the US do? And oh my God, the SEC. And oh no, there's somebody being sued and stuff like that. So I decided to dive in and try and figure out what is the actual share of people in the world holding cryptocurrency when it comes to North America. And what you see here, this is AAA.io, crypto ownership data. And it states that over 420 plus million crypto owners worldwide. And you can see here North America, you see South America, Africa, Asia, Europe, and Oceania. Yeah, Oceania is the smallest with 15 million. Then we have Europe with 31 million, South America 33, Africa 38. Then we have North America on the number 2 position, most holders 54 million. And then there's Asia with 260 million. So what I found interesting about this is that a little bit over 10%, right? Like, what's that? 15% of the world is represented by America, the amount of holders. They state here in this article, as of 2023, we estimated global crypto ownership rates an average of 4.2% with over 420 million users worldwide. So the top countries is the USA with 46 million. USA is part of North America, right? Canada is also included there, etc. Then you have India with 27 million, Pakistan with 26 million, Nigeria 22 million, Vietnam with 20 million. And then you got the ownership's demographic, which is also interesting. What?
No, it's completely what you would expect.
63% male, 37% female, 72% are aged under 34, 71% have a bachelor degree or higher, and the average crypto owner has an annual income of 25,000 US dollars. Then there is some other statistics which is interesting because they use I'm not sure if that was this article, but they use this PPP ranking where they normalize how much people invest of their total income in crypto. The bottom line was that I'll leave this article here. That the US has obviously an influence, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not as huge, right? I mean, their voice is very loud because a lot of companies are registered there, at least the loud ones. And yes, there's a lot of money being invested in the US, but there's also a lot of money owned there. And the other article, I will look it up and put it in the description, stated that when you take a balanced measurement, right, a weighted balance of how much people earn, then they're actually not at the top, if I remember correctly. And then you have to look at Africa and Asia, or for instance, the Philippines, I think, and a bunch of those other countries. People invest way more, and they use the cryptocurrencies a lot more. Yeah. Yes, in America, it's much more common to invest, right? I believe well over 50% of Americans are invested in the stock market because that's truly in their culture. Also in Europe, that's not as common at all.
Only 25% of Dutch households invest. The other 75 doesn't. I mean, they might do through their retirement funds, but they don't actively participate. It's all passively being managed through complex structures.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy because we're a very wealthy country here, but it's just not necessarily in our culture.
No.
But if you look at crypto adoption, there's 350 million people that own crypto out of the 420 million that don't live in the United States. So
basically, yeah.
I mean, and yes, a lot of companies are there in North America, but if they just keep butting heads and they just keep making life difficult for companies, they speak English in England and they welcome companies with open arms. Same goes for Estonia. Same goes for, well, a lot of other countries. And you can just pick up Coinbase and move. And you can just pick up Kraken and move. If you would want to, right? I mean, it's all data in a data center, and you can just move your company and just have it somewhere else. And that's not even that crazy of an idea.
No.
So, I mean, if there's regulatory clarity and that makes that companies can actually invest or provide the services that they want, then the problem is kind of solved. Because clarity is all they want, right? They don't care. Well, they do care, but if the regulation says you cannot do this and you can't do that, then at least they can make choices and they can make plans. But right now they're just on hold and gambling to a degree on what they can do. And then they get the SEC suing them. I mean, didn't look at the lawsuit, but the allegations seem legit.
I don't care about those lawsuits and things.
No, but it's important. It is because they don't have the regulation and the clarity what is going on. They need to sue first before they then can create the rules and regulations. And for companies, that's not interesting. But the impact, that's where we were going, of the 54 million people in America that own crypto is 10% of global crypto holders.
Yeah.
But their voice is like 90% of all the volume and the static.
Yeah, it's not 54 million. Yeah, I mean, in total. I think the American it counts for like 46.
It's fewer. It's 46. Yeah,
46 million. Anyway, I mean, it's important, and it's really crucial to notice this. But it gets crazier if we go into the actual statistics. I just looked up some numbers from certain countries. Oh, you just closed the page. I lead you close to the screen sharing. I wanted to show you something fun.
Yeah, but you found that, so you need to share your screen.
You can do it too, right? We are on the same page.
Is that here? Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the bottom. Like, so for the people listening, you have like a list. If we go up again, please. Yeah, we have a list of all countries. It's being sorted by country, population, ownership percentage. And then you have a search bar and you can actually look into certain countries. And I noticed, and sure, we have India on top because, well, obviously they have most people in the world. It's not China anymore, it's India. It's relatively shortly. And in India, 7.2% of all the population owns crypto, which is quite a bit, right? So in absolute numbers, it means that they have over 100 million people in crypto. In the United States, it's 13% of the population. And in Vietnam, it's 20. So 1 in 5 Vietnamese actually holds cryptocurrency. I was like, okay, well, what does that mean for, let's say, major European economies like Germany or France? So I typed in Germany, like Jarno does now. You'll find that it's a slight 4% of the population. And that's Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Germany is, I don't know, if they are sending a message, they're still doing it through fax. They don't even have internet in most places. It's terrible. If you go to France, I think it's even less. It's like 3% or something. Oh, 6. Okay. They're doing better than Germany. But then I thought, okay, so most people in the Netherlands, I mean, most people in Quant are Dutch for some reason. I don't know why, but we are relatively speaking, we are the biggest community, I think. But if you type in the Netherlands, just a slight 2.7% of the population owns crypto. And if you go to Belgium, it gets even worse. No, you thought, yeah.
Yes, boss.
Yeah, it's 1.4%. So that means that in these economies, people barely participate in crypto. I find that fascinating. I'm not sure about the United Kingdom, but it should be equal to that. So it means that some major markets are barely participating. United Kingdom, it's 5.5%. Okay.
United Arab Emirates, 27.67.
Yeah, almost one in 3 Emiratis participate, or at least people living there, dwelling there, in their air-conditioned homes. Yeah, I just found that an interesting statistic. So that, well, at least it gets back to the quant community, how a lot of Dutch people are in this. Well, in absolute terms, we are there aren't a lot of Dutch people investing, and let alone in crypto. So yeah, it makes sense if you look at those numbers why people from other countries might be having a louder voice, because there are simply more of them.
Yeah.
In other cryptos then, I mean, Quant is overpopulated by Dutchies. But yeah, there are a lot of shouty Americans in other places. So that might also be an explanation. I'm not sure. And it also kind of, I mean, tackles this argument that I made earlier. And that's about like centralized exchanges versus taxes. Because we said, well, all the major markets will need regulation, right? So in Europe, and in some other parts of the world, we will need the wealthy parts of the world. They are essential. Well, in absolute numbers, we are a very small portion of the total amount of people in crypto. So that would be a nice counter argument to it. Yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going here, but it throws in some extra complexity.
Yeah, and what you can also take into consideration is GDP, right?
Yeah.
So the amount of money a country generates, the US is there with 23.3 trillion. That's probably where everybody is looking and listening. China, 17.7, Japan, 4.9 trillion, Germany, 4.3, India, 3.2, UK, 3.1. And then there's Italy, Canada, South Korea.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
So the major economies are not necessarily participating in crypto.
Yeah, and looking at the debt that they have, right?
That's something for another episode, dear people. We're drawing to a conclusion. It's been a nice show. Lovely to have you all here.
Innovate, and that can only happen when you regulate, and that will then in turn stimulate.
I think so.
Yeah. So we'll see where it goes. It's an interesting week. People in the US feeding the heat, right? Putting the pressure on the SEC for clarity. And we'll see what that does with prices. No matter what happens, Gil will be on EBADAY. There will be Overledger demos, and that's in under a week from now.
Yeah, so in 2 weeks' time, during the next English language show, we might get an insight.
if it is really juicy, we could maybe do English show in between or instead of the Dutch.
No. It's not.
Depends on the amount of likes and comments, maybe.
Yeah, that depends on how important it is. What's gonna happen?
Now, if there's really nice juice and you guys want us to share, let us know.
Yeah, but most likely we will have forgotten by that point. 2 weeks will have passed. We will have forgotten what happened, and we will be moving on to the next point. That is a feasible scenario. We simply don't know. It's 2 weeks time. We're still moving towards our $15 target in August. It's a month and a half away at this point, so it's we need another 85% drop, but then we are there. So it's going to be really interesting to see if we actually move towards our mark.
You cannot rule it out.
If we do not, we are getting a free quant. So the stakes are high. So in conclusion, thank you for listening, watching. I hope we did a proper job once again. I'm not sure. I didn't feel that interested, but I am. I'm just trying to process the sheer amount of information that people in the lounge, in Conchill, on Twitter are throwing at me. And it's just too much to fathom sometimes. And we are doing our very best to keep you updated, informed, and Quamfy.
Yeah. Throw some suggestions if you want to see specific content. And like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah.
Follow our socials. Check out our website. Tim has wrote some interesting articles. See you at least in 2 weeks, maybe sooner.
Maybe
Meantime,
sooner.
stay Quamfy.
Stay Quamfy.